What's going on?
What's going on?
There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Noosphere podcast. My name is Nathan, aka the Mesa, and my microphone was set to the wrong device setting. I am joined with me today by James, aka the Man Magos,
We're there.
and Dan, aka Little Willie. Tiny Todger,
What's
whatever it
going
is.
on?
I forget. Today we're talking about Chapter Approved 2022, which released yesterday. Bunch of new mission rules, new primaries, new secondaries, disappearance of secondaries, as well as some points changes, but we'll mostly be going over some of the mission pack stuff. Before we begin, you can support us by heading on over to discord.gg/, the link is in the description below. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/lightning assault, and you can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/lightning assault. I think that's just it. That's it, yeah. No, the Instagram is Lightning Assault YT. If you would like to find us on there, we usually post something, a little bit of a teaser before we start our games on a Wednesday evening. Before we delve deep into the bizarre changes, some bizarre, some good, some bad. What's everyone been up to?
This weekend, my boiler went off yesterday, so trying to get that back up and running to no avail. Did do a little bit of painting some orcs and built some more GSC ready to start painting that lot.
I don't know. Snorting crack, losing the will to live.
Sounds like you had a much more eventful weekend than the rest of us.
You know, it's just the usual.
Only white drugs. Anyway, moving on. Let's jump into the actual mission and changes and sort of some of the generalist stuff. So army detachments all have to share the same, at least one keyword. This keyword cannot be Chaos, Imperium, Eldari, Inari, or Tyranids. So, no mixed detachments of Orc cultures, no mixed detachments of Sisters of Battle, no mixed Tyranid hive fleets. The only thing it doesn't include is Marks of Chaos, Allegiance models, and the sort of Dreadblade/Freeblade keyworded Chaos Knight. So, Chaos Demon armies can still mix. And you can, throw in Dreadblades and Freeblades into certain armies. Thoughts and prayers?
Dumb move, personally. I think that they went in 8th edition. They went, yes, everything can be souped, and then regretted that they stopped that. But now it feels like they're going too far the other way. Where
what did this fix?
I don't know, because there's not many armies that really used it besides Orcs, Sisters,
Space Marines.
No, not really.
Space Marines really didn't do that because the Space Marines had that built in a long time ago.
Yeah,
where
with the super
if you
doctrines.
if you mix detachments, you lose super doctrines. So yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that. It's not like it was causing any big issues. I think the main culprits are actually Grey Knights.
Oh yes, with the mixed sword brethren or whatever they're called.
Yeah, mixing brotherhoods to get more
powers,
grandmasters.
Oh yes, many grandmaster dread knights.
Yeah, those were the main culprits.
Yeah, but it just seemed a bit odd.
As always, one army ruins the fun for everyone.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been fixed by just saying you can't have more than so many grandmaster, like they did with orcs. They said no more than 2 DAC jets, no more than one squad of these buggies, and that literally solved the orc problem instantaneously. With Grey Knights, they could have just I don't know. Or they could have gone the opposite way and gone, oh, if you do have mixed brotherhood detachments, you lose this rule. The same as super doctrines.
Yeah, it was an odd change.
But instead they went, you know what? Everybody's fucked. It's punishing the whole class for the one, shithead child.
For the one kid that shat in his seat.
Yeah,
it's great. It's whatever. On the plus side, it makes going to tournaments a bit less awkward.
Yeah,
because I think if you had different doctrines, there had to be different sub factions. There had to be marked properly, and
Yeah.
either they had to be painted differently or they had to have like weird shit around the bases.
I can tell
to show
you
that difference.
that after the latest LVO, 1 second, let me just grab the Sisters of Battle fucking keeled over and died.
She dropped off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah. Same with Admech. Just looking. Tyranids are still a problem. Drakari are slightly less painful. So Drakari are sitting pretty at 62% win rate. Tyranids sitting pretty at 62% win rate. Orcs are down to 54%, so I'd consider that a fix. They are fixed. Codex is still shit, but you know, as far as competitively speaking, they're kicking ass. Adeptus Auritas 43%.
Wow.
So they they got shit on. Interestingly enough, Dan, this is this LVO was before the chapter approved 2022 point changes. Adeptus Custodes fucking crushed everyone.
That's weird. What, before the points decreases?
Yes. 60% win rate.
Spooky.
212 wins out of 355 games, and this is before the points drops to various things. So I have this terrifying feeling that Custodes are gonna be the new fucking Grey Knight boogeyman.
It's a shame I don't know how to play, right?
Well, gotta get good. Anyway, another rule which I quite liked, because I'm gonna use this whenever I host an event. Ending a battle or conceding early. The player who concedes scores 0, and the winner gets 60 victory points. So they don't automatically get 90 or 45. Yeah. They'd get 60.
That's a cock of a rule, personally.
Yep.
But it's really dumb. It's really fucking dumb. Because then people can concede out of spite, then you only get 70 points.
But they get 0.
Screws you. Sure, they get 0. But they can, if they want to really fuck with someone, like it screws the better player, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because 70 victory points is not great for a tournament play.
Well, top tournament wins usually end up nearly maxing out every single game.
That's what I mean. So, like, for all I'm getting at is, put it this way, right? You're playing a game, you're in the sort of latter rounds, and your opponent is a complete fucking penis, right? He knows he's losing, he's about to lose, and out of spite, he concedes. Just to fuck you.
Yeah.
So
I can see that happening.
So why not? Because it also says in or around the same section that if a player loses all of the models, and i.e. is tabled, that the winner can go on and still finish their moves and turns as if it was battle round 3, 4, 5. So if you get tabled turn 2, you're the person that tabled you. Well, no, it does, because it says if there's no models left on the board, so AKA tabled, you are the person that did the tabling. You can then go on and finish off your moves and complete your actions in turns 3, 4, and 5.
That's totally
in
fair.
order to match. Yeah. So I just don't understand why that rule takes precedence if your opponent concedes. So if I concede, say I'm playing Dan, right? I concede, like Dan says, out of spite. It's a bit shit. But if I concede, and as a result of me conceding, Dan then gets to go, all right, remove all of your models from the board. I will continue my movement and my actions for the next 3 turns. And if he gets to max out, then he maxes out. If he doesn't get to max out, it's on him because he's either chosen the wrong secondaries or he just doesn't have. Does that make sense? And I think that is the fair way. I don't understand. I'm with Dan here. It is a bit of a cock of a rule because I don't understand why you put that rule in place when the one that I've just described there is so much better. They've already got the right rule, but then they've put in a janky second rule about conceding. We just used the rule that you had as if someone was tabled, because if they concede, they've been tabled. you've run away.
Yeah, but if you take kill more or kill secondaries, then you're not going to score anything because you've removed all their models.
In which case, you should automatically max out because you've done the equivalent of killing them all.
It's a tricky one.
Yep.
It's a really tricky one because then you could make the argument where people buy the wins, right? They go, "Let me win this," and do weird win trading and stuff. It's a tricky one. I'm not gonna lie. It's an odd one.
It's also very difficult for players who, let's say, like our games. Our games last 2 weeks, they've been pretty much over turn 3.
Yeah.
So you're basically being forced to play until turn 5, everyone to score their points, because by conceding, you're getting 0.
Well, I get that, but we do it the other way already, or we have done historically, where we'll say, okay, so again, to use me and Dan's beaten me in turn 2. I concede, but then we usually talk it out and say, well,
that's strictly prohibited. All tournaments, it's strictly prohibited to talk out your turns, because what happens is the pro players, when they go against not so pro players, they will convince their counterpart that they get more points than they actually would.
Yeah.
People get sketchy as fuck when it comes to talking it out, which is why they prohibit it at tournaments.
I see. Well, that makes sense. I suppose, yeah, in a tournament setting, I get that.
Yeah. Anyway, mission secondaries are gone, but they're not. They're just baked into the primary now. And the 8th edition codexes, they finally got their sort of faction secondaries. They
got one.
Yeah, they got one. They're questionable. We'll go on to them later. Some are good, some are fucking impossible. And there's new secondary rules. So, secondaries. The basic bitch secondaries. Bring it down. Now 1 VP for less than 9 wounds, 2 VP for 10 to 15, and 3 VP for 15 plus. The only change I can see that this makes is to transports. Transports are now worth 2 VP instead of 1 VP because they have 11 wounds.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends with the transports, but I think it's a decent rule.
Yeah.
Again, it's because it's not just vehicles; it includes monsters in that.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty decent.
I always found it, like when I was playing Custodes, I always found it prohibitive to take this secondary when I was playing against Imperial Guard. Because how many times have I ever killed all of James's tanks?
Yeah, all of the tanks.
Because you'd have to kill them all just to get close to maxing out. And fuck me, killing 9 Lehman Russes? Nah, mate, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, it's not. It's not an easy test. Now, not even melters are like guaranteed kills.
Yeah, exactly. It's which is how it should be for IG tanks. But you know what I mean. The fact that it's difficult to kill vehicles with no inborns, and there's plenty of vehicles and monsters with inborns that are just going to make it harder. I don't know. Bring it down just doesn't seem like a great secondary, even with this change. But at least it's a small assistance in the right direction.
It's a weird one. I mean, vehicles are just not played much at all these days, except for Space Marines bring dreads.
Yeah,
but most armies shy away from vehicles because they're just not great.
I'm just thinking, moving forward for armies like Tau, they're battle suits. Are they classed?
They're infantry now.
Nope.
They're infantry.
Yeah, they've never been vehicles.
They've always had the battlesuit keyword.
Right.
Or now they're infantry. Although, didn't one of the fucking...
Was it the broadside or something?
One of them had the fucking monster keyword or something, didn't it? Whereas the rest had the battlesuit keyword.
They all have the battle. Are you thinking of the really big one?
Yeah.
The Storm Surge. That was a vehicle.
Yeah.
That was not classed as a battle suit.
Yeah.
That was a vehicle. And I believe it's still a vehicle now and not a battle suit.
Fair enough. I do have the Tau Codex, by the way. I'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
It's terrifying. It really is terrifying.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I'm not going to lie.
It's exactly what I expected.
Yeah. Let me just... Yeah, I'll send it to you later. No prisoners.
Yeah.
This is changed very slightly. You get 1 victory point for every 10 models you kill, but you get a bonus 1 victory point for killing 50 to 99, and a bonus 2 VP for killing 100 plus. So in order to max out this secondary, you have to kill 120 models.
No one's gonna fucking take
well,
it.
120 wounds worth of models, which is
still trash.
60 Space Marines, 120 Imperial Guard, 120 Orc Boys. What else is it? It's 40 Adeptus Custodes Alaris Terminators. Good luck with that. What else? I'm looking at my shelf.
A lot of AdMech.
Yeah, a fucking shitload of AdMech.
It's still not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Trash.
Basically,
same amount of AdMech as it is Guardsmen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Psychic interrogation. I think we touched on this previous week. You no longer require line of sight. You can just cast it within 24 inches, and it goes off on a 4. Pretty good, in my opinion.
Very strong. I think I've taken psychic interrogation
and
a few times.
It was a solid choice.
Yeah, it's been good. Like, especially in armies that want to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And they take psychers for support. You know, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Usually, you know, you have to make the choice. Do you want your psyker to support or score you VP? If you take 2 psychers, though, like I feel like Eldar have a good time because they can take warlocks. You're pretty cheap. They cast some spells.
Yeah, that's true.
The thing is, though, did it used to be against a unit, and now it's changed to a character, or was it always against just character models?
No, it needs to be within 24 inches of a character. Yeah, it's always been character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Investigate signal. You now have, so this is the one you have to do with a unit that's wholly within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield.
Yeah.
You used to only be able to start it if there were no units in the center. You can now do it even if there are enemy units in the center, but they have to be dead by the end of the turn for it to complete. So it makes it ever so slightly easier.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Don't know who's going to take it, but...
No. It's fine. It's just, fine. Deploy teleport homers. This can now be done by infantry or bikers. And you start it at the end of your movement zone. It's got to be wholly within 12 inches of your opponent's deployment zone. And it completes during your next command phase. Or at the end of your turn if the unit completing it are troops. Fine for GSC, because they can deep strike within 3 inches.
Yeah.
Fine for Drakari, because they can go fast.
It's still an awkward...
Yeah.
I mean... It's whatever.
You're basically suiciding that squad.
Yeah, it's honestly. that unit's gonna die. Like dropping troops. It has to be troops. You're never gonna do it with anything
not
but
bikers,
troops.
No.
So it's. I don't like it. I still don't like it.
The only biker unit's going to be probably GSC.
Yeah, honestly, it feels like a GSC secondary. They can very easily do it.
I suppose.
Yeah, but
that's from the forum. If you take Tempest the Scions.
Yeah, that's true. But you'd rather Rod, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because units like that are sort of more sort of surgical strike units. Not you don't want to spend lots of points to do nothing and die.
They're one of the cheapest units. They're one of the cheapest 5-man units in the game. I think 5 Tempest the Scions is like 50 points.
Yeah.
You can suicide them.
That's true. If you look at it that way, I guess you could argue.
But at the same time, you could do exactly the same thing with Tempestus Scions in the form of Rod, but two out of the 4 squares, two out of the 4 times they do it, they'll actually survive and continue to provide something towards the game.
Yeah,
this is very true.
If you do that, it's not even that though, because if you do it with Retrieve, right?
Yeah.
You can drop them turn 2 and turn 3, right?
Yeah.
And then the other 2 turns, you do it in your side of the board.
Yeah, 100%.
And that covers you completely. Yep. While doing this, even if you stagger it, so you deploy turn 2 and turn 3, that still only gets you 6 points. Right? Because it's 3 points every time you do it, right?
I believe so.
It's still trash.
It's 2. It's 2 if you do it in your opponent's side of the board, isn't it? And then it's 4 if you did it wholly within the opponent's deployment zone.
It's
one
whatever.
sec. Where is it? Deploy teleport hammers. Start to perform at the end of your movement phase, wholly within 12 of your opponent's deployment zone. Has troops battlefield rocks complete at the end of the turn, blah, 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 blah. Each time a unit from your army successfully completes this action, you score 2 victory points. You score 4 victory points if you're wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. So it's 2 points if you're just within 12, but 4 points if you're wholly within.
So it's a cock of a secondary, and no one's going to pick it just like now.
It's a shit version of Rod, but it's easier to do because Rod now requires you have 5 units in the squad. 5 models in the unit, sorry.
Well, there's require it. It's just
if you compare deploy teleport homers to banners, because banners can be removed, but looking at this, you can't remove teleport homers.
No.
So it's a shit version of Retrieve and a better version than
it's
banners.
not though, because banners you can just shit. You can just do in your own deployment zone or in no man's land on your side of the board and just hold back really far back. So banners is safer.
Banners is a very good and safe secondary.
Yeah.
On missions that have 6 objectives and you can comfortably hold 3 of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because then because keep in mind, you also get victory points at the end of the game for how many banners you still have raised. So obviously you're not going to get 3 on turn 1 unless you go super fast. But it's still like easier to max out, I think, than
100%. Also, if you just get completely fucking denied by your opponent, you're gonna score nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas with banners, it doesn't matter where your opponent is, you're still gonna score a few points here and there. Same with Rod. Anyway, last one. Engage on all fronts. The unit now has to contain 3 or more models or be a vehicle or monster. Tricky for Custodes. Other than that, seems fine. Doesn't really make much of a difference.
Yeah, so you got to drop 2 Allarus Terminators.
No, it's got to be 3.
Yeah.
If they count as 2,
no. Only for objectives, not for actions.
Lol.
Yeah, everyone's asked this, and everyone's been told no. I don't know whether it's going to be FAQ'd, but frankly, looking at their win rate, probably not. Bit whack. Faction secondaries. The only good one is the Imperial Guard one. 1 victory point for every unit you destroy.
Well, hang on, because before you go into faction secondaries, have you noticed, or at least on the copy that I'm looking at, the only factions to get faction secondaries are ones that haven't had their codex?
Yes, that's what I said at the start.
All right, okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that's the idea. So that it just gives them something to pick. Not that anyone will fucking pick these except Imperial Guard, but you know. Imperial Guard is just shoot stuff and kill it, which is pretty easy, to be perfectly honest. You've got to kill 3 units a turn to max it out, which is difficult.
It's not easy.
But you know, as Imperial Guard, you're already struggling. You're already bleeding secondaries out your asshole. It's fine. Chaos Knights fucking hate this. So your knight, you get 1 victory point if your knight is in your deployment zone and kills an enemy unit, is 3 inches from your deployment zone and kills a unit, or is wholly within the enemy's deployment zone and kills a unit.
Yeah.
Insert wow sound here.
Really weird. So you basically have to have 1 night in your deployment zone, 1 night in no man's land, and 1 night in your opponent's deployment zone every turn for 5 turns.
Yeah, so it's basically saying...
And they have to kill every turn for 5 turns.
It's bollocks.
It's
horrible. It's like the IG one, but
what it's basically encouraging you to do is have a big shooty knight at the back, a shooty close combat one in the middle, and you have a...
but you're not going to get a fucking knight. You're not going to get a fucking knight in their deployment zone on turn 1. Nope. And get it to kill something, are you?
No.
Straight away, it's like impossible to max out. Yeah, it's a bit of a cock of
It is.
It's whack. Tyranids, it's just overcomplicated.
It's funny, isn't it? So like IG just got IG just got kill stuff, and everyone else got kill stuff
in a complicated
with
way.
Stupid rules. Yeah.
So Tyranids, you only score this with synapse units, sorry, and you get a tally that's reset to 0 every turn. You get 1 tally for killing a model with 3 to 5 wounds, 2 tally for killing a model between 6 and 9 wounds, and 3 tally for killing a model with 10 or more wounds. And you get 3 victory points at the end of your turn if the tally is 4 or more.
So it has to be 4 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to do the last 2.
Well, not really. You can kill 2.
Or the first one and the last one. I see what it's trying to do.
It's
but
fucking
again, it's
weird.
It's
basically kill a rhino and then kill a squad of Bulgrin, and you'll score 4 victory points. No, 3 victory points, sorry. It's fucking weird, man.
Or kill a character and kill a rhino, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 to 5 is going to be like, that's your character model.
Or kill 4 units.
Or kill 4 units, yeah.
I mean, it's meant to be sort of mixed and matched, right? But it's...
Again, it's just an overly complicated way of doing it. Why not just, keep it at synapse and say you've got to kill a minimum of 2 units?
Yeah.
The real problem with that is they have to be killed by stuff with synapse. Not everything has synapse.
It's going to be for Tyranids. It's mainly going to be all their big bugs.
Yeah, it's usually the big ones.
The big bugs, zoanthropes, and warriors, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of their HQs and
possibly a broodlord.
It gets worse. Chaos Space Marines, right? Okay, here we go, boys.
Yeah.
1 victory point for an enemy destroyed while on an objective by Heretic Astartes. So it has to be killed by a Heretic Astartes keyword unit. And the entire unit has to be destroyed while on an objective. Okay. 2 victory points if you control an objective controlled by your opponent at the start of your turn and is now controlled by a Heretic Astartes unit. So you have to run a Heretic Astartes, which at present they're not very good.
Just to clarify, Heretic Astartes refers pretty much specifically to Chaos Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines Terminators. Yeah. Pretty much anything that's a Chaos Space Marine.
Yeah. It sounds fine, but then when you look at what weapons they have, and how efficiently they're going to destroy said units holding objectives. I mean, think about a squad of Chaos Space Marines with bolt guns and shit killing Blade Guard.
No.
I mean, you got your Hellbrutes, they're Heretic Astartes.
That's true. Do people run Hellbrutes?
Probably not, no.
I don't think people even run Terminators, do they?
No, hold on. Isn't everything in their army Heretic Astartes? I'm pretty sure everything in the army has Heretic Astartes. I think this mainly refers to demons, so demons wouldn't be able to do it. I'm pretty sure most things have Heretic Astartes, actually, thinking about it, because that's kind of like their main keyword.
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, pretty much everything's got Heretic Astartes.
Heretic Astartes replaces either the Death Guard,
it
Thousand Suns.
It doesn't include any of their demon engines, basically.
Right.
So,
no. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, 100%.
No, they have it.
What the fuck? Maul
no, they all have it.
Heretics.
No, they all have it. I was going to say, they all have it. I think the only thing it doesn't include, it's demons themselves. So it just limits you to...
Okay, this is less demons. Terrible than I thought. All right. Okay, so every turn, your army has to kill an enemy on an objective and then take it back for yourself.
Yes.
Which in itself is not very good. Because if you're winning, you're already on those objectives.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You've got to give them up just to try and take your opponent and taking them so you can take them back.
Catch me. Go on, catch me.
Well, yeah.
Take it. Go on, take the point. See what happens.
Yeah, you're relying on your opponent.
Go on, Hubble.
You've literally got to give your opponent an objective every turn and then kill what they take it with. I don't know. It seems fine, but I feel like it could get fucky real fast. In case we weren't already assured that Games Workshop is fucking obsessed with leadership being relevant, even though it never will be. Chaos Demons get 1 victory point for each enemy model that flees the battlefield.
Wow!
And they get 1 victory point. Right, this I had to read a number of times. So, when an enemy unit, an entire unit, is destroyed by an attack by a Chaos Demons unit, you roll 2d6, and if you equal or exceed their leadership, you get a victory point. So if you're against Necrons or Custodes,
it's never going to happen.
It's dead. It's dead. This kills the crab. If you're against Orcs, maybe. I mean, how many of my Orcs ran away?
Yes.
Like 5? 6? In our game?
These secondaries just fucking tragic, man.
And finally, Imperial Knights. This one's
Stanford.
Pretty good. The Imperial Knights one's pretty good.
Yeah, 2 victory points if you control half or more of the objectives. So Stranglehold. So it's basically a second Stranglehold. And then 2 victory points.
It's better than Stranglehold because Stranglehold requires you to control specifically 3 and more.
Yeah.
Which you can't even do on a bunch of the missions.
And then 2 victory points if no enemy units are wholly within your deployment. And 1 victory point if no models in your army ended their turn closer to your edge than they started. And nothing fell back.
That's pretty good. It's like an Oath of Moment style thing.
You basically, every time you move, you can't move backwards. You can't fall back. And you need to hold at least half the objectives on the battlefield. So it's tough, but doable.
I think it's very doable. That's a very good
The only bit that I think might be difficult is making sure no enemies are in your deployment zone.
Mm-hmm.
But
that can be tricky. But it looks like
if you look at some of the fucking lists that me and Dan found, motherfuckers are running 12 war dogs these days. So
there's a lot of I think people I've for a while now, people just stopped using like
Big boys,
lots of big knights. It's usually 1 or 2 big knights, and then everything else
and then a
is
fuckload of little dudes,
war
which,
dogs slash.
which makes it easier to screen out your backfield as well.
War dogs are the melter ones, aren't
Oh,
they?
Helverins, sorry.
Oh yeah, war dogs.
You know
war dogs are the chaos ones.
Yeah.
Warglaives slash Helverins slash what is it, the forged one? Moiraxes.
Oh, Moiraxes.
With the
Yeah.
The other one with the not Laszlocks, the
lightning locks. Yeah, we saw a list where it was like literally 12, 13 war dogs.
Yeah, I think it was like 13 or something.
Nine normal guys with the chain swords and melter spears, and then 4 Moiraxes. And I think it came top 4. It was hilarious. It was.
Yeah, I can see a lot of lists struggling with that.
Yeah, because it's just so much T7, many wounds, very fast, and an obsec.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many people are still going to take lightning lock. Well,
with the price increase,
your price hike. But I don't know. I always felt like the Helverins are underrated. They've always put in work.
Yeah,
they got a really odd profile, but they do enough shots where if your opponent's a bit unlucky on saves,
it's a decent gun.
Like it can ding vehicles really hard because it's flat 3 damage for some bizarre reason.
Yeah. Great for killing custodies if you're unfortunate enough. Anyway, missions. First mission in the new pack. Apologies for the scanned images. Data Scry Salvage. This is the fucking... Oh, wait. No, that's the wrong fucking mission. I apologize. Recover the relics. We played this on Wednesday.
You did?
You only get your battlefield, what do you call it? Battleforge command point if you hold an objective in no man's land. So no turn 1 CP unless you have infiltrators. And then you gain a bonus command point if you control your opponent's objective, which is by no means easy.
No.
And then you get a bonus victory point per unit you destroy each turn up to a maximum of 3 victory points, which, James, you actually scored quite a lot on this one, didn't you?
I did. But then again, the following turn you did, because it was just a bloodbath, and I think it was a really good.
It was a good deployment. It's very, very large deployments with very little no man's land in the center.
Yes.
It's a very aggressive map, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was really. It looked good. Yeah, I liked it.
Next mission up is tear down their icons. This is the one that we were talking about where you plant explosives. So any unit except aircraft can plant the explosives. It has to be wholly within your opponent's territory, not their deployment zone, just their half of the map. If the unit that did the action has OBSEC, it's completed at the end of your turn. If it doesn't, then it's not completed until the end of your next command phase. So it's a bit trickier if you're not doing it with troops. And then your opponent also has an action where they can defuse the explosive markers.
This is the one I was talking to you about, where if it's an automatic, like it looked like if it was an automatic pass. So if this action is successfully completed, roll 1d6. Add 3 to the result if the unit that performed the action has the objective secured ability or a similar rule.
Yeah.
On a 4-up, remove that primed explosive objective marker from the battlefield.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you were talking about Rod.
No, that's fine, mate. No, but this is the one I was on about. So basically, troops auto do it.
Yes.
And everything else needs a 4-up.
Except Custodes, because nearly everything they have is OBSEC. So yeah.
Fair enough.
So Custodes can plant bombs real good.
Oh no, this is diffusing, sorry.
Yes, sorry, diffusing, yeah.
Diffusing. Setting up, like you say, anybody can, by the looks of things. In addition, set 1 primed explosive objective mark of the battlefield, wholly within your opponent's territory, wholly within 3. The unit completes this action. This represents a cache of primed explosive, but does not count as an objective marker for any rules purposes other than the diffuse explosive action and the detonation primary objective.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
it's strong.
Yeah, and but the only caveat is they can't be within 9 inches of each other, so you have to plant explosives quite far apart. And you get 4 victory points for each explosive marker that's still on the battlefield.
Yeah, it's just pretty big because you only need to have 2 left.
Yeah, and it's crippling. it's crippling against elite armies because they have so few models to defuse bombs. They can't really afford to run around defusing bombs. And if you're playing against GSC, who are just fucking everywhere, and they're just going to be planting bombs willy-nilly, which is exactly what they should be doing. That's how they play, I guess.
I'm here's a thing though, something that just dawned on me. I personally really like the way they've done these secondaries, right? But it feels like this is just another level of like rules creep, where there's just more and more things you have to remember.
They got rid of mission secondaries, but in doing so, there's now more rules in a mission than there was before because people used to ignore the mission secondaries.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, the secondaries just took the took the place of one of the.
You now have 3 secondaries plus another secondary.
Yeah,
but 2 of them have to be from the book, and only 1 can be from your representative codex, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's good. Like, I think this is a better way to differentiate a good player from a bad player.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's not down to remembering 20,000 layers of rules for each army. It's more about playing the mission, and I like that a lot more. But I'm weary that if they keep adding more stuff like this, it just ends up with far too many rules to remember.
Yeah.
The rules bloat is already annoying enough in 9th edition, especially in some armies.
And this is just more.
But it's good. Like, it makes the missions feel a bit more unique and more interesting.
Yeah. Whereas before it was just here's 5 objectives, fight over them.
Yeah, but it's half the time it's not even that, right? A lot of the time is everyone kind of picks a lot of the time the same shit.
Yep.
So, when you play Space Marines, for example, it's always very much the same thing, right? Here's your engage, here's your Oath of Moments, here's your, banners or Stranglehold or whatever. So every game revolves around the same thing of lol, rush center, hold 3 points, have a couple of units running about like pillocks. Cool.
But the thing is, I think even you're saying that, but it's still going to be that, isn't it? Because Space Marines are always going to take the Oath now, because you get to pick one from your codex.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
always going to be Oath. There's nothing else in there.
Yeah,
but
you still have
to do these other things.
But Rod, you're now rolling dice unless it's troops. A lot of these actions, you're rolling dice or having to wait until you command phase unless it's troops. Everything I've seen so far is Games Workshop saying you'll need to run more troops, please. Which for some armies, they've not been doing. Like Iron Hands, for example.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Again, there's so many plates to spin when it comes to balance now. You got the armies, you got the missions, you got the secondaries, you got the primary secondaries.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
I think Nathan's hit the nail on the head, though. I think that is what this Grand Mission Pack is all about. It is about troops and pushing troops.
And bikes.
Yes, yeah. You've got to be love for bikes. And not aircraft. There's so many brackets of excluding aircraft models.
That was another thing we haven't. I don't know if we're going to discuss it at the end or not, but it's a point to come back to. It wasn't just the aircraft that got the nerf with the maximum 3 data sheets.
Maximum 2.
Is it 2?
You can only have 2 aircraft in a army, I believe.
Yes, but now you can only have 3 of the same data sheet.
That's always been the rule.
That's been like that since 8th edition.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll tell you since when it was like that. That rule came into place in 8th edition, at the beginning of 8th edition, when some bright sparks realized that the only thing you need to absolutely destroy a tournament is run 6 Hive Tyrants. Don't know if Nathan remembers that.
It was before that. And it wasn't
No,
Hive
that was
Tyrants.
it was Flyrants.
No,
Flying Hive
no, it
Tyrants.
wasn't.
Yeah.
It
No,
wasn't
that's when it
Flyrants.
happened.
It wasn't Flyrants.
Yeah.
It was Chaos, and it was these stupid fucking psychic casters
Nope.
that could cast these mortal wound spells over and over and over and over and over again. And so people used to run 12.
That was one of the things, but that never really won tournaments. It's when I think it was a couple of tournaments where people there was a lot of spamming of the same unit in at the beginning of 8th edition, but that was what topped it off. Is people were like spam Flyrants, spam Flyrants, spam Flyrants.
But yeah, that died a while ago.
Yeah,
I've just never picked up on it. It just means though you can't run 4, say, I want to say tactical squads, but they're no longer called tactical squads.
No. It doesn't affect troops. It doesn't include
troops. Affect troops,
no.
Right. Okay.
Data Scry Salvage. This is a horrible layout. I'm never going to enjoy putting down deployment zones because I fucking hate these diagonal maps.
And it's the most popular one. There's, I think, 3. Or was it 4? 3. There's, for some reason, 3 of the missions, which is the most of any one type, has this diagonal map.
I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Again, any unit can perform this action except aircraft on an objective marker in your own deployment zone, as long as there's no enemy models on the objective marker. 3 victory points per data intercept. So it's literally the Dark Angels secondary. You sit on your own deployment zone objective. If you hold it and your opponent doesn't, and your opponent doesn't get in range of it, you get 3 victory points every turn.
Yeah.
You also hold objectives when you move units off of objectives until they're taken by something else. So you can take it, move off, and if you're confident your opponent isn't ever going to get it, then that's that.
Yeah. Sticky objectives.
Sticky objectives. It's a fairly... I think it's going to be a very reliable mission, but that deployment makes me want to cry.
Yeah, diagonal deployment is ass. It's annoying because it's a different style of diagonal.
Yeah.
Usually it goes from
halfway
the center
to
a corner, but this one's not. This one's
2/3 of the way to 2/3 of the way around. It's weird.
It's the other way around. I don't like it.
Yeah. Abandoned Sanctuaries. This one I thought was quite interesting. You're not allowed to use scout moves or scout deployment at all. So no infiltrators and no 9-inch pregame move. Sorry, Alistair, your Necrons can eat shit on this mission. Maybe we should play this mission on Wednesday.
Evil.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Yeah. So.
Well, it depends. We're talking about him playing Mefrit anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So 2 victory points for either you control an objective in the center, or you destroy an enemy unit that was within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield at the start of your turn. So easy 2 VP. And then you get 5 victory points if you hold the center at the end of the battle.
Hold my center.
So it's literally Oath.
Mm-hmm.
So Space Marines... So Dark Angels are going to have a fucking field day with this mission. Yeah. I don't know. It's a very vanilla mission. It's a super vanilla mission. This is the missionary sex of the GT mission pack.
Missionary sex is great.
Yeah, underrated.
When you don't have sex.
Next mission is Conversion. You only gain a CP if your warlord's on the battlefield, or he can be embarked on a transport, which I thought was an interesting clause. So no more suiciding your warlord into places. This is that corner. This used to be called Sweep and Clear, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple missions that deploy like that. Me and Robert played one on.
Yeah, and Surround and Destroy, something to that effect. Score 4 victory points if you control an objective in your opponent's zone, and 2 if you control 1 or more in no man's land. And this is the one where you lose 1 victory points if you don't control your own objective marker. But you can never lose victory points less than 0, if you know what I mean, per turn. So you can't have 45, and if your opponent has your objective, then you go down to 44.
Yeah, it just taxes you on how many primaries you get.
So, yeah.
I like the mission though.
It's fine. It's very difficult to max out because you're only getting 2 a turn until you take your opponents. So,
no, sorry, the one is in. We are on conversion, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're leading from the front.
Yes.
Which is another like CP bonus.
Yeah, only gain CP if your warlord's on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
kind of
with the secondary on this, you're only scoring 10 points unless you can wrangle your way onto your opponent's objective. And even then, if you only do it turn 5, it's only 14. So you kind of need to get onto your opponent's deployment zone very early in order to max it out. Oh, wait, fuck. This isn't a secondary. Sorry, ignore me. This is adding on to the primary points.
Yeah, it's the primary secondary.
Yeah. Never mind. It's fine. It's actually fine. It's K. The Scouring. So this is more Space Marine stuff. You can Auspex scan objective markers only if there's no enemy units on the objective marker and it's completed at the start of the next command phase. It just kind of reminds me of like one of the secondaries.
Yeah.
You get 3 victory points for each marker you scan. So it's kind of like it's easy, but it's hard because there's only 5 objectives, and you only get 3 VP for each objective you scan.
Yeah. There's any of the missions that have these mission secondaries that involve you doing actions actually really shit, because if you already pick a secondary that requires you to do an action, now you need multiple units to perform multiple actions. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, like I said, screws over elite armies, but also they're clearly yelling at people to take more troops. But at the same time, it's going to cause people to be killing less because they're doing actions.
It's a weird
odd balancing act. Tidal Conviction. This is a wacky fucking mission layout. Really bizarre layout. Because the objectives in the center of the battlefield are off center.
Yeah, well, they're mirrored, but off center.
Yeah. You only get CP if you control the objective in your deployment zone, which is fine for the most part, unless you fuck up and your opponent manages to take it off you. You score 2 victory points if you control the objective in your opponent's territory. Turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those ones in the no man's land. And you score 4 victory points if you control the objective marker in the opponent's deployment zone at the end of the battle. And then 2 victory points for each other objective that you control in opponent's territory. So there's quite... This is very much a win more. This is I'm already crushing you. Now I'm going to run away with primary points by scoring 1 billion at the end of the battle.
Yeah.
Oh, crush me, daddy.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks interesting. I'd be interested to play this and see how it works.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Death and Zeal, another one of these corner missions.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I played.
So this is another one with sticky objectives.
Yep.
Score 2 VP if you control every objective, or at least one that you did not hold at the start of your turn.
Yep.
Or you score 2 VP if you destroyed at least one enemy unit that was in range of an objective marker at the start of their turn. And then score 3 VP if you do both.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like this one. It was fun. Again, these kind of close quarters deployments.
Yes, yeah.
Are pretty rough.
It very much feels like a rotation map where you rotate around the battlefield.
You'd think so, but it's not. It heavily favors armies that are really fast. Because, and especially if you get like first turn with an army that you go fast, you go in and you surround and encroach your enemy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And they struggle to get out. That's what what ended up happening against Robert. I played Drakari and against Ultramarines, and he just dash forwards, turn 1 and 2, and surround them, and then they're just kind of stuck,
hemmed in, and
in their deployment zone. Yeah.
The final. We'll carry on.
I was just going to say the sticky objectives, as you put it. It only applies if the unit had OBSEC or the equivalent of.
No,
Am I reading that right?
Once you hold it, if you hold it once, it's yours.
Until the enemy takes it.
Yeah, until the enemy takes it.
No. Objective purged. In this mission, if a player controls an objective marker at the end of their command phase, and one or more of their units that are in range of it has the OBSEC, see core rulebook or a similar rule, it remains under that player's control unless the opponent controls it at the end of the subsequent phase, even if there are no models within range of it. So your units have to have OBSEC to make it sticky. So if you take it with an elite's choice,
unless you custodies,
you Blade Guard and then move off it, then you don't keep it the next turn. It's just I get it.
No, it's pretty good. It means that you don't have to leave like infantry on your backfield points doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right? If you know that your opponent's not going to do some weird plays.
I'm just noting you're seeing typos on my fucking thing. Last mission, secure missing artifacts. This is the one where you reposition marker A, then the other player repositions marker A and B, and then the other player repositions B. But you can only move them 6 inches horizontally.
Yeah, those are always a cock.
Yeah, they're. This mission existed beforehand, and it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, just as annoying.
Literally the same mission. Priority targets. You get 3 VP if you control your priority target. Hint, hint, it's always the one in your fucking deployment zone. So yeah, this mission, laughably the easiest mission to max out on, still exists. And it's alive and kicking. It's very uncomplicated compared to all the rest of its counterparts.
Yeah, it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it for chapter approved. Anything else you guys want to talk about from chapter approved?
No. I like what they did. I like this idea of additional things you can do for more victory points. It means that primaries are important, but they're not as swingy as they used to be.
Yeah. If you no longer hold 3 objectives, you can still max out the primary each turn by doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you options.
It's nice. Yeah, and it makes the missions a bit more varied. So I'm all up for that.
I'm 100% down for planting IEDs.
Yes.
And watching fucking a unit of Blight Lord Terminators have to forego their charge phase to disarm the IEDs.
Yeah, bro. I look forward to shouting Rashbi Suka every time.
With fucking awesome. A random AWP guy in the corner.
I love it.
Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in to our podcast. You can catch us on Wednesday at 7 p.m. next week. We'll be playing Orcs versus Alastair's Necrons. It will be a horde game. Prepare to see many models, many models. 90 Orc boys and a fuck ton of Necron warriors. If you don't like horde games, maybe have a bath.
It will be a horde game.
Yeah. And then next Sunday, I imagine we will be talking about the Tau Codex, provided something happens. We do have it, but got to go through it. And that's it, I believe. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Hit us on subscribe and like the channel, helps us a lot. And we'll see you guys next week.